Winter has come. If the maesters are right, it'll be the coldest one in 1,000 years. We should ride home and wait out the coming storms.
The war is not over. And I promise you, friend, the true enemy won't wait out the storm. He brings the storm.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 discussion video. Today I want to talk about the Great War against the Night King. I recently made a video about how to defeat the undead dragon Valyrian, but now I want to talk about the Night King himself. Obviously, Westeros has a very big problem on their hands now that the Night King and his army of Whites, White Walkers, and the undead dragon have brought down the wall during the Game of Thrones Season 7 finale. Now that the others are invading Westeros, it's only a matter of time before all hell breaks loose, and the North will be ground zero for the Great War. But will anyone be able to stop them before their numbers grow even larger? We've all seen what is needed to kill the White Walkers and Whites, but what about the Night King? Before I go any further, let me just make sure everyone understands the differences between Whites and White Walkers, because I know some people still get them confused. First, the White Walkers are the ones that are in second command. They typically stay very close to the Night King, almost like his own personal Kingsguard. But the Night King also uses his White Walkers to take care of some of his more important missions, like obtaining Craster's sons. The White Walkers also have the power to reanimate the dead, which we learned during the episode Beyond the Wall. It's not exactly clear how many White Walkers are left, but there don't appear to be very many because we rarely ever see more than a handful of them at a time. But we don't know how many groups of them are in his army. White Walkers are created from living humans through some sort of magical process, and it's through this process that makes them so powerful because the Night King seems to be transferring some of his own power into them. The White Walkers are just one notch below the Night King himself, in terms of what they are capable of. Game of Thrones has made it very clear that White Walkers can be killed with either Valyrian steel or Dragonglass, and we've seen 4 of them killed so far. One by Samwell Tarly in Season 3, one by Jon Snow in Season 5, one by Mira Reed in Season 6, and another by Jon during Season 7. White Walkers, however, do not appear to be susceptible to fire. In the Season 5 episode Hardhome, they are shown to snuff out fire due to their extremely cold bodies. But that was just regular fire. It is unknown if they can be killed by dragon's fire or wildfire. Secondly, we have the Whites. They are the zombie-like reanimated corpses that populate the vast majority of the Night King's army. They're basically just humans that were brought back from the dead, but now it takes a special weapon to kill them for good. The Whites are the weakest of the army of the dead. Essentially zombies, they differ drastically from the White Walkers in appearance. They often look like decaying bodies, while the White Walkers usually have long, white hair and pale, blue-gray skin. The Whites are the foot soldiers of the army of the dead, and appear to take orders from their White Walker superiors. We know fire can kill Whites, as we saw most recently when Dany unleashed her dragons, and on the TV show, Dragonglass also has a special power to destroy Whites. Now, this is not true in George R. R. Martin's books, but Game of Thrones writer Dave Hill confirmed in a recent interview that the show has deliberately changed this. So, even though the Night King has this massive army, there are ways to kill all of his soldiers. And we learned one very interesting piece of information during last season. The episode Beyond the Wall taught us a crucial detail about White Walkers and their armies, and Jorah Mormont was the one to point it out. When you kill a White Walker, it takes out all the Whites under their control. And after learning this, Beric Dondarrion realizes the only way to win this war is to go after the first White Walker ever created, which is the Night King. And according to him, it would destroy his entire army. That seems like a relatively simple concept. Kill the Night King, his dragon will fall, his army will fall, and the war is over. But if only it were that easy.
Killed him. He turned them all.
You don't understand.
Beric says to Jon, all we have to do is kill him. But Jon says you don't understand, which to me, it implies it won't be so simple after all. If we assume the Night King can be killed just like any other White Walker, then he can be taken care of with fire, Dragonglass, and or Valyrian steel. However, now that the Night King has his own dragon, it'll be incredibly difficult for anyone to get close enough to him to do the deed. Even if Daenerys uses her dragons, Viserion with his blue fire can counteract that attack. Plus, the Night King is smart and strong. He was able to kill Viserion with one throw of his spear. One of the biggest problems is we don't even know what weapons could kill him. Even if Jon and the others were able to get close enough, it's difficult to say what they could use to actually take down the Night King once and for all. While it's known that whites are susceptible to fire, Dragonglass, and Valyrian steel, the Night King himself has never actually been attacked on screen. It's unclear whether he is equally vulnerable to these weapons or if he has some sort of immunity to them. But if Jon and his men can't take down the Night King in this way, they can still use their newfound knowledge to chip away slowly at the rest of the White Walker army. They might be able to destroy a big portion of the Night King's army if they take out all of the other White Walkers as soon as possible, since we know some of the Whites were turned by the White Walkers too. Let me ask all of you this. How many of you actually think what Beric Dondarrion said was true? Can the entire army of the dead be stopped if you kill the Night King? The threat of the White Walker invasion has been lurking in the background ever since the pilot episode of the series, so would they really allow all of them to be defeated with this simple concept? The strength of the army of the dead comes from their massive numbers and lack of fear. They attack on command, and they even throw themselves off cliffs for their king. They can be defeated, yes, but now we know how vulnerable dragons are when facing White Walkers, so bathing them all in fire at once is no guarantee. It's hard to imagine an army of men being able to match the firepower of a dragon. So how do you defeat such an enormous, terrifying force? The Night King is incredibly powerful and he's been around for a very long time. I've always been of the belief that it will take a very special weapon to defeat him. Since he is arguably the most powerful character in the story, I doubt he can be killed with the same weapons that kill the soldiers that are directly under him. White Walkers can be killed by Valyrian steel and Dragonglass. However, the Night King is not like the other White Walkers. He was the first and the most powerful, and he created the other White Walkers. Do you think the Night King is immune to Dragonglass and Valyrian steel? Fire doesn't seem to have any effect on him or the White Walkers. We have seen them walk right through fire as if it weren't even there. The Night King even walked through the dragon fire right before he killed Viserion, so I think killing him with fire is out of the question. The next weapon would be Dragonglass. Since the Night King was created with Dragonglass, I don't think it will kill him. Some theories even suggest that if you take the Dragonglass out of his chest, it could stop him or turn him human again. It would almost be like taking the battery out of something. You would be removing his source of power. But this is only a theory. There is no actual proof that this would work. There are even some theories that say the Night King will never be defeated, that in the end, they will either make a new pact, or the Night King will destroy everyone and everything in his path. After all men must die. Death comes for them all. It's the first enemy and the last, and they can never defeat it. Kilroy once said, "The Night King will never die. Dragons can't get near him. He will always have a spear handy. And if a dragon even started to fly at him, he'd throw the spear and kill it. We know it can kill dragons because we already lost one of them this way. Even if a dragon could get near him, what good would it do? Unlike other White Walkers, he's immune to fire. He walked right through the flames and they dissipated as soon as he got close. If Drogon or Rhaegal shot a blast of flame at him, it would never connect with him. He simply cannot be burned, because his aura prevents it. So, only weapons of Dragonglass or Valyrian steel can kill him. And, if dragons can't get near him without being fatally speared, no human can either. Besides, even if they're wielding one of those weapons, they'd have to cut their way through hundreds of whites and some White Walkers to get to him, and they'd likely be torn apart if they tried. Third, as if that wasn't bad enough, he's got an undead dragon on his side now. If he wasn't unstoppable before, he is now. Now, I personally don't see the Night King defeating everyone, because that would be too bitter of an ending in my opinion. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to a very special weapon, or at the least, a very special character. Bran Stark has to be extremely important. Why would the Three-Eyed Raven and the children sacrifice themselves to protect him? You would think this has to be for the greater good. Also, his uncle Benjen told him, when the Night King comes, you will be waiting for him, and you will be ready.
Must learn to control it before the Night King comes. Drink. One way or another, he will find his way to the world of men. When he does, you will be there waiting for him. And you will be ready.
To me, that sounds like by the time the Night King arrives, Bran will have some sort of plan to defeat him, or send him back to the icy north. There also has to be a reason why so many characters have brought up the prophecy of Azor Ahai and the prince or princess that was promised. It's a very old story that predicts the coming of an ancient hero who will defeat the Great Other. The legend of Azor Ahai is scattered throughout the books, but in the series, we've mostly heard of this through Melisandre. Melisandre first believed that Stannis was Azor Ahai, hence all the horrific sacrifices. But when Stannis was defeated on the battlefield, she turned her attentions to Jon Snow. Some other people think it could be Daenerys, while others say it's Jaime or even the Hound. Whatever the case may be, this person needs to reveal themselves soon. Otherwise, the Night King may never be stopped. So, what do all of you think? Will the Night King be stopped for good? And which weapon do you think is needed to take him down? Also, do you believe what Beric Dondarrion said? Can the entire army of the dead be wiped out if you cut the head off the snake, meaning the Night King? Or will there be some kind of a twist to his downfall? Let me know what you think about this. Put all your thoughts down below in the comment section. I enjoyed your feedback on how to kill Viserion, so now I want to hear what you have to say about how to kill the Night King. Thank you very much for stopping by and watching today's video. I really appreciate that. And I also want to thank all of my supporters on Patreon. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.